All right, hello guys. Welcome to my video. And in this video, I'm going to present something. It's about the academic thinking assignment. Or yeah. So, so in this occasion, I want to present a presentation article, which is titled "Improving EFL Learners' Critical Thinking Skills in Argumentative Writing," which is written by Nabila Nejmaoui in 2018. And in this article, the writers think that critical thinking is important in this area, for the information stream has been unlimited because of the internet. Because you know that internet has provided a lot of things that if even you search for the dumbest thing in the world, you might find it. So yeah, it's very easy to find an information in the internet nowadays. However, because of the endless information, we will have a difficulty when we are looking which one is the right one, which one is the fact, which one is the hoax, and etc. So therefore, critical thinking is needed in this era. However, according to the writers, critical thinking has not reached the graduate students, and this has been proven by the study from Peters and Soden. If you one of the studies that were conducted by them is when is a study where non-graduate people and graduate people was tested in a matter of critical thinking, and the result was not that significant. So the writer conclude that the critical thinking has not reached the graduate students yet. And the solution from the writer is integrating critical thinking with EFL by argumentative writing. And the next slide. And here are the literature review that were used by the writers. Actually, there are a lot of literature reviews, but I only highlighted 5 of them. So the first one and the second one is the definition of critical thinking, and the third one and the fourth one is how should critical thinking should be implemented in the class, and the fifth one is the result of the previous research that was ended successfully. And here are the research objective and research question. So the first one is the objective. So there are 2 objectives in this research. So the first one is to examine the extent to which EFL learners use critical thinking skills in their argumentative essays, and to investigate the potential effects of integrating critical thinking skills in teaching L2 writing on students' use of CT. So in here, CT means critical thinking, and the L2 is the second language. And research questions. There are two research questions. So the first one is, to what extent do EFL learners use critical thinking skills in their argumentative essays? And the second is, to what extent does the integration of critical thinking skill in teaching learning language 2 writing help students improve their critical thinking in their argumentative essays? And the next slide is the methodology of this study. So the design of this experiment is quasi-experimental, and then it was involving 36 Moroccan EFL university students who enrolling the semester 2 or the second semester, and the control of this article are the article mentioned that there were 2 groups. So the control one is the focus merely on writing, so they just write. And the experimental is explicitly integrated critical thinking skills in a course. And for the instruments of this course are the pre-test and then post-test, and Illinois critical thinking is a scoring rubric. And there are 3 steps in this research. So the first step is pre-test, and then after the pre-test, the participants will have will be split into, and and they would be given different treatments. So the control is focused on merely on writing, and the experimental is explicitly the critical thinking skills in a course. And after those treatment, there will be a post-test. And here are the results. So the result of these experiments are this. So the pretest, the control has less score than the experimental, and the standard deviation is the experimental has lower standard deviation than the control one. And for the post test, the gap between these two groups become much bigger. For the experimental, it's 18.83, while the control is 11.30. And for the standard deviation, both of these were reduced, fortunately. And for the experimental, the standard deviation is increased, although it is increased, but the standard deviation means the score is not that radical. So there is no very bad score and there's no very good score. And for the normality test and the pre-test and the post-test are this. It's according to the standard, it's still fine. The normality test is the test where we determine whether this test is it fair or not, and the result is it's quite fair. And for the paired samples correlations, the control and the experiment, the correlation is there is a clear correlation between the critical thinking and the argumentative writing essay. I mean, no, I mean there is a big correlation between the treatment and the result of the test. And the analysis of there are in the analysis and discussion there are three things that is highlighted. So the first one is the state of affairs of critical thinking in argumentative writing among the EFL learners. So Moroccan EFL students have not used critical thinking skills sufficiently, and this has been predicted by Amrose and Nejmaoui in 2016. And this statement can be proven in the pretest. So in the pretest, their score, both of their score were low, and the second discussion is lack of progress in the absence of critical thinking instruction, and the control group does not outperform the experimental group, and this result has been predicted by Gerald in 2005. And this can be it has been proven in the result part where the experimental have more mean score than the control one. And the last discussion is the integration of critical thinking in the second language writing. Argumentative writing can explicitly introduce critical thinking skills that can improve the students' learning achievement, and that also has been improved. That has been proven by the result. And this result also aligned with the Tirune et al. In 2014, Pierre Horenstein and Ni in 2011, Abrami et al. In 2008, and Penger Drowns and Penkert in 1990. And the conclusion is there are two conclusions. The first one is the absence of city skills can deprive learning achievement and critical thinking. And critical thinking is teachable in the second language classes. And for the suggestion for this article, the suggestion from the writer are further study needs to be done in other fields because it's only studying the argumentative essay. And critical thinking and language should be found to enable the thinking skills. And last but not least, critical thinking as an aim besides language. So the EFL learners will be able to not only use the language properly, but also can think critically. And that is all for the presentation. If you have, and that is all for the presentation. Thank you. And if you have some questions, you can drop it in the comment section. And yeah, thank you for all the participation and have a nice day. Thank you.